Hello, my name is Imad Jabir. Today I'm going to talk about three types of do loops in SAS. The first one is iterative do loop. It works through a series of iteration statements based on some incremental index variable. The second is do until. It works through a group of statements until some condition is met. The third is do while. It works if a specified condition is true. Now, let's start with the iterative do loop using SAS Studio. First of all, we need to define a dataset file. Let's call it A, and of course this file is going to contain the results that we get out of the SAS program. So we define this file, we write data A semicolon, and then sum equals 0 semicolon. Let's write first the program, the SAS program, and then we will go through its statements one after another. And then do I loop equals 1, 2, 5. And then we write here the formula for the summation. Sum equals sum plus I loop semicolon and proc, which stands for procedure, print, run. Now let's go through the file here, the SAS syntax file. Data A, we have defined the dataset file, okay, for the results, and then the initial value for the summation is 0, with which we start the do loop. And here we have the do I loop equals 1 to 5. It goes from 1 to 5. So here I loop in fact is called index variable, and here by default it increases by 1. It means, in other words, the increment value is 1. So we have here for this index variable the initial value 1 and the last value, which is 5. And then of course we put end to end the process of the I loop, the process of do loop, and then proc print to print the results, and then we run it. So let's go ahead and run this program and look at the results that we get. You see, here we got the final summation, which is 15, and of course the number of iterations here, the number of iterations is 6, because we included the first step of this do loop where sum is equal to 0. Now somebody here might say, I want to see the details of this do loop process. Okay, it means we want to look at the steps of performing this do loop. So this is what we could do. After this sum statement, the sum formula, we can write the output statement. Output, semicolon, and now let's see what we get. You see, now we have the iterations and the increment values. Every time we increase the value of the index variable I loop by 1 until we get, of course, 15. So this output statement gives the values at each iteration. Now let's go to the second method of do loop, that we call it do until. Okay, we do the same, of course. We have to define a file. We better define a new file, a data set file, where we can have the results of this do until process. So we give the data set file the name data the name B, data B. This is the name of the file, semicolon. And now let's put the initial value for the summation, which is sum equals 0, semicolon. And then let's write the do until statement. Do until, open parentheses, I loop greater than 5, semicolon. Sum equals sum plus I loop, semicolon, output So what we did here is that we specified the initial value for the summation, which is 0. Of course, we can have a different value to start this summation with. And here we have just told the program that the I loop, which is the index variable, can go from 0 until it reaches 5. So the do loop here in this case will come to an end when we have a value for the I loop index variable that is greater than 5. So now let's write I loop plus 1. The good thing about this method is that it enables us to control the increment value for the index variable I loop. So here the increment value is 1, and of course we can change it to 2 or 3 or 5 or 0.5, 0.75, whatever we want to use as an increment value for the I loop variable. And then we need here to end this do statement, do loop, end, semicolon, and then proc print run. Let's go ahead and run the program again. And of course here we need to look at log to make sure that we don't have any error, we don't have any warning message. So it looks fine, no error has taken place. So now let's look at the results. You see, this is the table for the first method that we call it iterative do loop, and this table gives us the results for the second method of do loop that we call it do until. You can see that both methods, of course, yield the same summation, final value for the summation, which is 15. We have 15 here as well for the do until process. Now let's go and try the third method that we call it do while. And let me assure you right now, right from the beginning, that we are going to get, of course, the same result. Again, let's define, it's better to define a new dataset file. We call it data C, the initial summation, which is 0, the initial value. And then we have the do statement. Here we say do while I loop is less than 6. Sum equals sum plus I loop output, and we put this statement of I loop plus 1 because we want again the increment value to be 1 for this I loop index variable. And proc print run, run. Let's run the program again. So look at log. Fortunately, no errors, no warning messages. Now let's look at the results. You see, this is the table that gives the result for the third method of do loop that we call it do while. You can see that all the three methods give the same final summation, 15, 15, 15. So whatever method we use out of these three methods discussed here, eventually we're going to get the same result as long as the initial summation is the same and the increment value for the index variable is the same, as well as the final value, the last value for the index variable is also the same. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.